What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and today let's proceed with our career mode in the Manor as we head on to the round 3 of the championship, this time around in Shanghai, China.
Good morning, and I hope you're as excited as we are for today's practice session here at the Shanghai International Circuit. This 5.45 kilometre track provides both low-speed cornering and a long high-speed straight, a combination that will challenge even the most experienced driver.
We are now in our garage, and I'm just going to show you guys the setup I'm using for this Grand Prix weekend. So you guys can just mess around with the video, go back and forth and pause it as you see fit if you want to use my setup, as we just head on to our practice programs and show you guys the results. So back in our garage, and as you can see, we got a perfect rating in every single practice program, and we also completed all of the team objectives. So more points for us to develop our car, which we need, and that qualifying simulation lap gave us P4 on the grid. So let's just jump to the practice results. So yeah, we just got 11th place, but though it doesn't mean much, I'm really confident with the pace we have this weekend, as we have now the results in terms of resource points for our development program. And as we jump into our desktop, you can see in the left hand side of your screen that we have fitted an increase in downforce we have been working on since the last Grand Prix, and Williams developed not only the drag but also the downforce and their fuel consumption, which gets them really close to Ferrari in the development race. So this probably will be a good weekend for that team. As you can see, we only have 314 resource points, and I'm going to save up for an increase in downforce or a reducement in chassis weight, because fuel efficiency, I'm not too interested in that right now. So with that, let's just hear what our agent has to say in terms of our qualifying objectives.
How are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
So for today, we have once again to qualify 20th or higher and to beat our teammate Pascal Verlaine. So just the standard stuff once again. So let's just jump into the qualifying session.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China.
As we jump now to our flying lap, as we head down the main straight to set our fastest lap of the qualifying so far. As we can see, we are now looking for the 50-meter board to brake and go down through the gears to help the car lose speed as we go down into second gear to turn 2, and a little tap on the throttle as we head down to turn 3, and now we start to put the power down gently to turn 4, as now we go flat out to turn 5, which leads us downhill into turn 6, 100-meter board, second gear, right-hander, full lock, and once again careful with the throttle application as we head down into the turns 7 and 8, these left and right very fast corners into the circuit, and we head down to turns 9 and 10 down to second gear. You may want to try to short shift a little bit here to avoid that, losing the back end I just did there, looking for the 100-meter board, second gear, 80 kilometers per hour as we head down into turn 12, this banked right-hander as we throttle application is crucial there as it leads us to the 1 kilometer straight down into the hairpin. This is a straight that is nearly 1 kilometer. It's one of the longest in the whole calendar as we look for the 150 marker board. You might want to brake at 125, an imaginary line there if you feel brave enough as we head down, braking just below that Rolex sign as we head down to the main straight to post a 1:38.6. So going to the results of the Q1, we for the first time in our career mode got out of the Q1. Our time beat both Sauber, beat one of the Haas cars, both Renaults, and got us P16. Jumping to the qualifying 2, we tried to get out of the garage as quickly as possible, but the track was quite greasy as it was raining already. I also tried a lap in the intermediates, but I couldn't improve on our lap time, which meant that we get P15 because Kimi Raikkonen was the last one to get out of the garage, and that messed up his qualifying lap massively. So now as we see the resource points we gained with all the achievements we got in the qualifying session. And as we jump now to our rivalry update, in which we just smashed our teammate Pascal Wehrlein, and we are very close, very close to beating him. And now the driver position, we completed both objectives proposed by our team, which meant that we are now in an overachieving position.
Hi, guess who? I've seen the team's expectations for the race, so I thought I'd pass them on and wish you luck. Take care.
So today we have to finish the race in 18th or higher and beat Pascal Wehrlein, so just the pretty standard stuff as we head on into the race.
Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. And we've got plenty of that here on the grid as well. 20,000 horsepower, give or take, chomping at the bit to be unleashed for the Chinese Grand Prix. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long, though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty. You like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, there's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you've got turn 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
Excellent job yesterday. We qualified above expectations. Let's go out there and put in a performance.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Nico Rosberg will start his silver arrow from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel and Button, Sainz, Massa, Kvyat and Valtteri Bottas, Alonso, Grosjean, Sergio Perez and Hülkenberg, Manor, Raikkonen, Marcus Ericsson and Esteban Gutierrez, Magnussen and Wehrlein, Felipe Nasser and Jolyon Palmer rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So down to the grid, as I'm showing you guys my my strategy edit screen, I'm not going to touch anything because I don't know how consistent the weather will be throughout the race. The only change I'm going to do, as you guys can see, I will be under-fueling the car, because as a lighter car I would hope would give us a better grip, at least in the starting periods of the race in the first couple of laps, and it would also with the rain we wouldn't we it would just be a waste of fuel if we were to use rich mix in the wet, so we would probably lose the back end a whole lot. So by underfueling the car, we can be quicker than normally because we have more grip because we have a lighter car, but uh, that also allows us to use standard or even the lean mix, which meant we can still save fuel for the later parts of the race while still being competitive. So yeah, that happened. That thing with Hulkenberg. The AI are sometimes too slow, and yeah, I was not expecting that, and I'm pissed. As you guys can see, I just flashed back because I was having none of that. But yeah, talking about the real life Grand Prix. To be honest, I didn't see the race. I forgot it was going to be on the weekend. It was. I completely forgot about the race, so I didn't catch like those first half an hour, I believe, of racing. That's from what I heard, it was pretty hectic. But yeah, I saw some highlights and I saw the the collision between Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen. And one thing I have to say is that obviously Kvyat got through, so the gap was there, right? But due to the characteristics of that corner, like at that speed, I think Vettel has a point because Kvyat had the inside line, obviously, but he still was going too fast, for in my opinion, because he goes right past the Ferrari. And at that speed, with such a long corner, the car would always understeer. And if he tries to brake, depending on how his car is set up and all that, if he tries to brake mid corner to avoid that said understeer, you might lock up the one of the front tires and still smash into someone. So I agree with Vettel that maybe Kvyat was too quick on the inside of that corner, but I also think that Vettel not expecting it, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't have left the gap. But he was he was not expecting it and got scared and tried to get out of the way to avoid a collision with the Red Bull, but unfortunately he just collected his own teammate, which is not optimal at all. So as our autopilot takes us once again into our correct position on the starting grid, it will be the longest wait we'll have so far this season with this great 15th place. So yeah, I was pretty confident with the pace of this car this weekend. I was feeling really dialed into the car. As we now wait for this loading screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and they just go out, and we are racing in the Shanghai Chinese Grand Prix as we try to control that back end of the car as we grab a couple of positions and we get tagged by someone there. We almost, I think it is Kvyat. Yeah, we got a warning for a collision, but yeah, we'll probably get the replay. And just look at this. We were P15 on the grid and we are now P6 at the end of turn 1. And once again, quite recreating history there, hitting Vettel on the inside of turn 1. But yeah, we just, with the lighter car, as you can see, we went down from rich mix to standard. And on the inside of button, and in 4 corners, 5 I believe, we got from P15 up to P5. So now with the replays we are on board with our teammate Pascal Verlaine, and he got a fairly good start, but he just lost the back and trying to avoid Gutierrez, I think, and all that work was basically gone, although he had the inside line into turn 1 and probably got some positions. Now following Alonso, as you can see, he avoids the Toro Rosso there, I believe it's Fiat, and as you can see, he drives right into my left side and tags me there. I have no idea why the AI did that, but fortunately we were able to control the car. Following to lap 2, we will go in the inside of turn 5, I believe, into the Ricciardo. We touch wheels. I think he locks up his front left, as we'll be able. Yeah, in fact he locks up both front tires, and and that allows us to move into 4th place. So coming up to lap 3, we will probably try a move down the inside of Verstappen down into turn 1. As you can see, we have the grip advantage is very good because we got a lighter car. So yeah, we will also be better on the tires due to that lighter car. So this is quite promising, this race, as we head up into P3. So in this clip I'm just showing you guys, I was so astonished about how further up we were on the grid in this race that I'm just showing you guys that I'm still in legend difficulty, all assists off, as I've been throughout the entirety of this career mode. So as in lap 9 we got word from Jeff, our race engineer, that the track was dry enough for the dry tire compounds, and we opted for the super softs as well as Ricciardo. We saw Hamilton getting out of the pits right in front of us, and he opted for softs. Though not every car was just bunched up in the pits, as we have seen in previous titles from F1 from Codemasters, but as you can see, Gutierrez is struggling quite a lot with those intermediates in a dry track. So moving on to the next couple of laps, we are now under pressure from a Mercedes and a Red Bull as we brake later, I apologize, into the hairpin and still get the move done. In lap 11 of 56 we have, I believe it is Ricciardo, trying to make a move on our outside to turn 13, I believe, and as he gets a better slingshot on the straight, that 1 kilometer straight, and we try to get back on him using the slipstream. As you can see, our slipstream is even stronger than is the RS. As you can see, how much powerful the Mercedes power unit is compared to the Renault one, and we get right back on him. So moving to the next lap, once again Ricciardo with the RS, and also a Mercedes of Rosberg. It just flies by the both of us, and I will probably try to make a move down the inside of the German, and we just touch his right rear and lose the position to the German, and do a beautiful switchback onto the Australian of the Red Bull to get back into the podium positions. So once again, in this section of the track, we are pretty much being destroyed by the Red Bulls here, and we are in a Red Bull sandwich as we break into the hairpin, and we get tagged by Verstappen under braking going into the hairpin, and we also touch the diffuser, the gearbox of Ricciardo. As you can see in the replay, it just probably outbrakes. Either I broke too early or he outbroke himself, and as he rejoins the track he clips the front left of Jensen Button and sends him spinning. The following lap, once again under pressure from Verstappen, and we try to hold our position down the inside, but he has the outside line, so a better traveling speed through the corner. But we get the inside line for that last corner and get the place back. So this is going to be a really cool thing throughout the race, as we are weaker down the straight as the other cars have DRS on us, but Oh, and Jolyon Palmer is out of the race. Let's see what happened to him. So as he goes through turns 11, 12, and 13 down into the straight, the back straight, his engine just blows up in a ball of smoke, and he just pulls off into the left side of the runway and brings on a virtual safety car, which after its clearance, as you can see, a Red Bull, I believe it's Verstappen, going this time down the inside of us into the hairpin, but we now do a switch back on him once again. We struggle a little bit with the traction, so we don't quite have the power to get right back on him. But we are not done yet, as we now have DRS to follow the Red Bull down into turn 1, which we will try to get the move down the inside line. And they are quite slow on that second part of this first corner, allowing us to get side by side with Verstappen, but he just has a better traction, better downforce coming out of the turn and gets the away with the position. So coming up to lap 20, we stop for a new set of tires, this time round the softs, I believe. Yeah, it was the softs, and we get out of the pit lane just ahead of Grosjean. I'm sorry, just behind our teammate Pascal Wehrlein. Following up to lap 23, we took advantage of some cars that would pit after us, so we move up into P14, as we are now right behind the Williams of Felipe Massa, and as we get DRS, and we'll get the move done even before the end of the straight. As we now move a couple more laps, and I was just keeping a consistent pace, trying to grab as much positions as I could using the power of the undercut. So coming up to lap 27, we are now on the gearbox of Kvyat, who is fighting for position with Hulkenberg, and we lock up our wheels, tag the front tires of Hulkenberg, but we still get the move done on Kvyat. So we will try to replicate the move we did on the Williams of Massa down the straight, open DRS, 8th gear, and a wild Bottas just comes out of nowhere into the track, and we have to slow down, both us and the Force India. But nevertheless, we get the move done on both cars up into P7. So now in lap 30, we weren't quite able to catch up with the front runners. So yeah, we're just minding our business as we see a smoke of trail from Romain Grosjean's car, who just retired, and let's see what happened to him in the replay. So going down the main straight, I believe he's following the Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz, but his car just gets engulfed once, just in a similar fashion as Jolyon Palmer, and just a cool shot in slow motion of the trail of smoke caused by the Haas car. Following up to lap 31, now the Williams and Jenson Button have the DRS advantage on us, but we have the inside line into the hairpin. Bottas locking up his front wheel, which allows us to get side by side on him with better traction since we are running softs and the Williams is running medium tires. And as we got behind him through the DRS detection zone point, we also got DRS, and that allowed us to consolidate our position in 6th, as Button also gets the inside on that Williams car and gets his car up to 7th at the time, which now became 6th for some reason, probably some cars going into the pits. We now head into turn 1 of the lap 34, and Verstappen coming out of the pits in a brand new set of medium tires, and we quite easily get the inside line through turn 1 and get the move done. We are still in lap 35 and we are now causing quite a train of cars as we are holding up quite a lot of them, and we outbrake ourselves and tag one of the McLarens. It looked to me like Jensen Button, as we were also fighting Max Verstappen, as we now get from our radio that Raikkonen fixed some issues that he was having, as I'm showing you guys the race director, and Lewis Hamilton in first, Rosberg second, Ricciardo third, Manning, Verstappen, Bottas, Button, Perez, Alonso, and Carlos Sainz rounding up the top 10, with Kimi Raikkonen down into P11 and Sebastian Vettel down in P12. As we move up a couple of laps, we add a little bit of off-track moments there, but fortunately we were able to get on the inside of the corner to keep Max Verstappen off from our position, which meant he got a really poor run into the straight, lost a couple of positions, outbrakes himself and smashes into the back of a McLaren, causing him to drop behind the Ferraris for P12, I believe. So we are now battling with Bottas through turns 8, 9 and 10, I believe, in lap 38, as he gets better traction, as we were quite distracted by Jeff's intervention regarding the tire strategy. And we not only lose the position to Bottas, we also lose 5th place to Sergio Perez, and we take that as a signal that our tires are not in good condition, and we take a route into the pit lane to get a set of super softs, a brand new set of super softs, and we will try to get these home in quite good condition, though the race gets quite boring from here on out, as we try to catch up with our most direct rivals, so to speak. But we only caught up to the Fernando Alonso up in lap 41, and we make this quite a good move on the first couple of laps, first couple of turns. And as we move on to 2 laps to go, Kvyat getting tagged by a Ferrari there, making a half spin, and as the Force India and Jensen Button are squabbling for a position and just come inches away from taking that front wing right off the front of the Toro Rosso. As we now come up into the last couple of corners of this race, as you can see on our right top of your screens, we already have the counter for the end of the race, as Lewis Hamilton won the Chinese Grand Prix. We got the outside line of Alonso, get the place back, and cross the finish line to come home with a 12th position.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
So as we now have the race results, I would like to say that it was a pretty good race, I believe. A little bit disappointing to finish outside the points, as I would like to get a little bit up on the table, especially considering how up we were in the early stages of the race. But yeah, maybe I should have gone into a soft, or maybe soft mediums into the end, or maybe soft, super soft. But it's always easier when looking on hindsight. So a pretty cool race overall, I think. So we are definitely improving. I'm definitely getting better at this game, as we now see the resource points we got from that race. And we just beat Pascal Verlaine in our rivalry. We just smashed him in this race, as following the trend of Bahrain. And I'm overachieving still, as I got all 4 objectives proposed to me at the beginning of this race, as I'm now showing you guys my career score. Yeah, I am a pleb who uses flashbacks. So now in our desktop we can see that we can spend some points on drag, but I'm really trying to invest on downforce or chassis weight. Maybe we will be able to get those upgrades in the next race, so I'm hoping to see you guys there. I will definitely be there. See you guys soon.